Hello, fans, viewers, and listeners. As always, it's me, Braydbunch, aka the non-binary ninja, and here with the main host, the man who brought you this awesome Fight Insight podcast, Timmy B. Today we're going to talk to the future voice of combat sports. Some of you may know her from the WWE or elsewhere. We're also going to discuss PFL, rigging the game, something I think we've maybe spoken about a little bit before, and a whole lot more. So you know what? You guys know the drill. Hit it, Tim.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fight Insight Podcast.
Our guest today was born and raised in the Philippines and immigrated to the United States at the age of 18, working with ESPN. She is a four-time Emmy award-winning editor for her work on Access Sportsnet Lakers, Access Sportsnet Dodgers, Lead Off LA, and the Kobe Bryant pregame show. Not content with just being behind the camera, she then finds her way into the world of professional wrestling, becoming a ringside reporter and ring announcer for local shows, eventually winning a guest spot as a ring announcer for the WWE's SummerSlam event. Now, and here's where the MMA tie comes in, she's the official ring announcer for UNF Up Next Fighting's amateur shows and can next be seen at UNF 9 on July 1st at the Commerce Casino Event Center in Commerce, California. Everybody, please welcome to the podcast, Ringside Raine Cruz.
Hello.
Ringside Raine, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad. Thank you for joining the show.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for that intro.
We are very excited. I did not know, like I was saying before, I've been following you for a long time. I did not know that you are a four-time Emmy award winner.
You know, it's I always say it's not just myself, it's a team effort, because it's our show that had won the Emmys. So it's a great team effort. And when you're working with like a great team, you guys make magic together and you guys accomplish great things like winning, Emmys.
Well, don't I know it? I've had my amazing co-host, Braydbunch, who's been with me now for 3 months, 4 months. It's been a while now. Braydbunch, you've been, you've been the co-host. We've been making magic here at Ringside Raine, but Raine, we need you to hook us up with an Emmy at some point. So whatever connections you have, you can get us an Emmy. That would be nice. Raine, you said, we had several fans write in some questions for you. I want to start with this one, which I feel should set the tone here for our interview. When did you realize you like screaming people's names out to strangers? And that's from Peyton 21.
Oh God. That's funny because now I tell people, hey, I yell at people, when I'm ring announcing. But honestly, I just wanted to find my spot in the professional wrestling industry, because I'm a big wrestling fan. I knew I couldn't be a wrestler. And somehow at my second wrestling event, they didn't have a ring announcer. And I just figured, you know what, maybe I'll try. So I volunteered to do it. And then, when I did it, I was like, well, this is actually fun, like I get to, scream at people. Not really scream at people, but it's like I get to kind of set the stage for the wrestlers and now the fighters who are about to do their magic inside the ring or the cage. And I just like being that voice to kind of help introduce fighters, because to me, it kind of pumps them up and it kind of builds the story. So to me, maybe when did I start? 2021. So that was March of 2021, when I first did my ring announcing stint. I fell in love with it, and I wanted to just keep doing it over and over again.
But that's like, you can't just pick anybody out of a crowd and they have the chops to do it. You know what I mean? You've got the voice, you've got the personality, and I've seen on your Instagram, and I'll put it up here on the screen for people. You're at Ringside Raine. Oh, actually, you have it. You wrote that as your name there. So at Ringside Raine, RAINE. Make sure you go follow Raine Cruz. But I see on your Instagram, you do things like where you were kind of developing a persona and stuff like that for your wrestling style? Like there's a more evil Raine, and then there's the more pleasant Raine, but you mix it up, right?
Yeah. Cause like for me, I try to be like versatile. Like I try to kind of show off what I can do. Initially, what brought me into at least the wrestling world was I wanted to be a wrestling manager. So I got into, I signed up for an online wrestling school because at that time it was COVID. So that was the only thing I could do. And it was at Santino Brothers here in California. And they had like a wrestling 101 course. And for the most part, I learned like the psychology of wrestling and all that. And I knew I wanted to be a manager. And yeah, I just like playing that like evil heel role.
Nice.
You know, what's weird is that I get really shy when I'm myself. But when I'm like, you know, being a manager, like a heel version of me, it's like, yeah, I'm going to talk to you. I don't mind. But yeah, so I started creating those videos because to me in my head, well, what's the best way for me to kind of practice? And I figured, well, I have a cell phone camera and, you know, I'll just record myself, you know, shooting these promos. And after taking this wrestling class, I met someone who introduced me to my very first promoter. But instead of being a manager first, he got me into ringside reporting. And then that's kind of how I started. And then, like I said, my second event, I was scheduled to do the ringside reporting, but they canceled that part. So I was like, okay, I drove four hours to get here. What else can I do? And they said, well, we don't have a ring announcer. So yeah, and I was just kind of able to switch my mindset into that. Okay, I'm the ring announcer for today. You've seen how it's done on TV. Then, you know, just kind of be that person.
That's crazy. And then now look at where this has taken you, right?
Yeah.
From those humble beginnings all the way to the Fight Insight podcast.
Yeah, it's really cool to like share this story because it's like sometimes, you know, we try to put ourselves like in a box, like this is what we all want to do, right? And then, you know, when you open yourself to like other possibilities, then you realize, oh, okay, so I can do that too. Oh, actually, you like this one too. So
that's crazy. Raine, I was watching another interview with you, and to kind of go off on what you said, you made a statement there that said, trust in God that one day he'll open a door for you.
Yeah.
And I like that. It's kind of what you're saying. So what can you expand upon that a little bit?
I guess like for me, you know, throughout the years, I've always had like big dreams, right? And you mentioned earlier, I moved to the States when I was 18. You know, when I was younger, I had no clue that this would actually be possible. And somehow, you know, a door was open for me. I wanted to go to college here, and it just somehow worked out, you know. And I truly believe that sometimes what's meant for us, you know, God will open that door for us because that's his plan. And if that door doesn't open, then he has a different plan. I've kind of always believed in that. I feel like it's always easier said than done. But then once you get to, I guess, the final destination, you kind of realize, oh, that's why things worked out that way. Maybe I wasn't ready at that time yet. That's why I had to like learn X, Y, and Z first before I, you know, made it to where I really wanted to go. So
yeah.
They were always like put, you know, and to say it at the right place, right time situation, even though sometimes we feel like that's not really the right place, right time for us.
Yeah.
But then eventually it works out.
That's right. Especially when you have the positivity like Raine does, Braydbunch. You can see it all over her. Raine, so I'm so happy because, like I said, so I'm following you along. Probably because my initial co-host that we started, he was a Filipino guy. We used to be on Filipino TV across Canada. We did our show. Yeah, we did our show across Canada. I'm not Filipino, but they allowed me to get in there, you know. And so I think maybe that's why our account was following all these Filipino superstars, you included. And so I'm following Raine Braydbunch, and then at some point I'm like, okay, she's got to do something so I can have her on the podcast. So there's this tie, and then boom! All of a sudden, I see you at Up Next Fighting, which is, I'm going to say, one of the best promotions in the world right now. That is not like that is a local or a local-ish promotion.
Yeah,
but they are huge. Like the events that they put on, Braydbunch, I'd say they have better pyrotechnics and a setup than when I was at BKFC in London. Like, it was great. Their setup is amazing. They have Ashley Evans Smith. They have the Schmo. They've got big names as a part of their promotion, and then no bigger name than they bring in Ringside Raine to be the announcer for the amateur shows. I'm like, this is crazy. And so one of the guys that we had, the reason why I know Up Next Fighting is because of a guy, Ray Rowland, the Slim Reaper. And so I do want to play this quick little video that I got sent in when we found out that Raine was coming. Here's what I get.
Hey, Slim Reaper here, and I just want to welcome Raine to the Up Next family. You've been a great ring announcer, and many more to come. Much love. Let's go.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So there is Up Next Fighting superstar Ray Slim Reaper Rowland. Raine, how has it been being a part of the Up Next family, and how exciting is it to be with them?
You know, I'm very, very grateful that I became a part of UNF, Up Next Fighting. It's such an honor, and I feel really blessed to be able to do this with them. I did my very first show with them back in May, and I remember just hitting up a bunch of like MMA promoters because I wanted to kind of transition into that world, the MMA scene. And I would get like an answer where they already have someone, or I wouldn't get a response. And then I heard back from Up Next Fighting, and I was like, oh my God, they're going to give me a shot. And, the thing is, at that time, I had never done MMA. So, it's a risk for them too, right? To give me a shot. And for me at the same time, it's like, okay, I've never done this. I got to, prove to them that I deserve this spot. And I'm really, really thankful for them for giving me that platform, the opportunity to show them what I can do. Because I actually love it. I enjoyed my very first show. I enjoyed, the whole production. Everyone's like very welcoming and very nice. And it's a great promotion to, learn the business. And I'm just very thankful for them.
It's awesome. I'm so happy. So, of course, some of the questions that we got, this one's from JC Man. They were asking, what's the biggest difference between announcing for wrestling and for MMA?
I guess because for wrestling, it's a storyline based. So sometimes with wrestling, I feel like when I introduce the wrestlers, it's like it's like I only get to tell everyone like their weight, their hometown, and who they are, right? Their nicknames. That's it. So if someone is new to this show, like the indie show, it's like, that's all you can hear about this person, right? Whereas like the MMA, when I announce the fighters, you could be there for the first time. And like, for example, for myself, just reading their stats, how many fights they have won or had they ever won a fight at least, it's like, I feel like when I announce everything about these fighters, it's like I'm telling their story. It's like I'm giving like a mini resume, right? Whereas like with wrestling, it's like they're from this area, they weigh this much. And sometimes some promoters don't even want me to say how much they weigh. So it's like sometimes all I say is like their hometown, who they are. So if I'm coming there for the first time as a fan, it's like, that's all I know from this person, right? Because mind you, like in the independent scene, there's really no TV presence like WWE. So there's really no storyline. You can't really build that. So in the perspective of just being there as a fan, I'm seeing these people for the first time. The wrestlers, all they know is where they're from, how much they weigh sometimes, and their names. The MMA scene, it's like I'm building up this story. This guy's been undefeated. Now this guy's facing this guy who's never won a fight. And then now people are like kind of thinking, well, this guy's undefeated, so he's probably going to beat this other guy. And then next thing you know, the guy who has never won any fight beats the undefeated guy, though. So it makes it like a better story. Nice.
And so I know you've only done one MMA event so far, but of course, and I had the poster up here for a second. I'll put it back up there. There it is, UNF 9. This Saturday, July 1st, you're going to be there. Now, as you become more ingrained with the UNF promotion, as the fighters like Slim Reaper, they get to know you, how cool will it be when they start asking for the fist bumps when you're shouting their name? Has anyone done that yet?
The thing is, it's like when they show up, it's like it's like they kind of don't expect me as like the ring announcer, because I don't know if there's really a female cage announcer so far, but it's like
one of the questions we had was, are you the only female doing this? And I feel like the answer is kind of yes. Yeah, at least that I could figure out. I feel like you are.
Because I know Lillian Garcia was like doing it for PFL before, but
sure.
I don't know if she's still doing it, but like when I meet the fighters for the first time, they look at me and like, who's this girl? And then I'm like, oh, how do you pronounce your name? Yep, I'm the ring announcer, and la la. And then they're like, oh, okay, nice to meet you. And so it's really cool to like meet them, without the, oh yeah, I'm gonna beat you up face.
Yeah. No, but so in the ring, when you're announcing them as victors or anything like that, have any of them come over to you to fist bump you in the cage yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, they will.
Not yet. But there was this instance from my first show wherein after I had announced him, I saw him afterwards outside a cage, and he's like, "Thank you so much for announcing me." And I was like, "Oh my God, congratulations! You made your debut tonight. You won your debut match." Blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, "I can't believe this is your first time announcing an MMA fight." And I was like, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So that's really nice, when they find me later on and then they talk to me and they thank me for announcing their names. I'm just glad I got the opportunity to do so,
Yeah. No, for sure. It's really cool. And I saw it, I think it was today or maybe yesterday, UNF Up Next Fighting. They posted a video of like this cornhole challenge between two of the fighters. And there's Raine. And you're announcing that. So like, I love it that they're using you for all their stuff and for their promos, because I really feel like this is a promotion that you can definitely grow with.
Yeah.
Wet your chops there, and superstardom is all set for you. Like, I don't know what the equivalent is to an Emmy, but I mean, Raine's already achieved that. So I don't know what else. Another question from, I guess this goes kind of to the wrestling angle, but then we've had other we've had other ring announcers on this show. Big Mo Maymertz, who is huge around the world. But I want to ask you, because similar to him, how important is your look? And this is from @ChellBell. How important is your look when you're in there? Like, do you have to think about like, okay, how do I want to look? How do I want to portray myself to the audience?
Mm-hmm. Yes. My main thing is I don't want to steal the spotlight from the fighters, because, the people, went to the show not to see me. They went there to see the fight. My goal is to push these fighters over. So I have my style, which for the most part, I like wearing my sparkly blazers. I have some sparkly boots, but I have not worn them yet at my MMA fights. But for the most part, I have like my sparkly blazers because I'm short, and that's the easiest way to spot me. You see someone sparkly, that's got to be Raine.
There you go.
I just don't want to like steal the spotlight from the fighters, because the spotlight is on them, not on me. I'm there to introduce them, to be their voice, to kind of let everyone know I'm here. But yeah, style wise, I love my sparkly blazers. If it's not sparkly, I will have something sparkly somewhere on my blazer.
Nice. There you go. Now, when you've been announcing at the very first UNF that you were at, can I ask, like, what was the most exciting moment, or what was the most shocking thing to you, maybe? Because coming from like wrestling where, it's staged and what's going to happen, or, that generally it's known what's going to happen. But now you're going into the MMA. Yeah. I don't want to spoil that for anybody. Now you're going into the MMA world, and like, you might go in there and go, okay, and here's, Braydbunch. And then by the time you walk out of the cage, Braydbunch has already knocked out their opponent. Now you got to walk right back. It can be very quick. It can be long. Like, so did anything happen in your first event that was exciting or shocking to you?
Yes. The very first fight that I announced, I remember I just literally got out of the cage, right? After announcing the fighters, I looked at my husband and I was like, how was it? Did I do okay? Yeah. And he's like looking at me, right? And he's like, yeah, you did okay. And next thing I know, his face went from me to like the cage, and he was just like, just like shocked. Because apparently behind me, someone got knocked out. And I was like, what happened? And I looked over and like the guy was down already. And I was like, and then I was like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? And then I just, went to the cage supervisor and got the details and kind of waited for them to let me know it's good for me to go back in the cage. But that one was really good that it happened right away, because that was the part that I was a little bit nervous about. Like, how would I react, when something like that happens?
Yeah.
Because, like you said earlier with wrestling, it's, for the most part, if everything goes the right way, then yeah, I'm just waiting for the match to end and, okay, here's the winner, right? Unless they decide to change the outcome. But with MMA, I think what I like about it is because you don't know what's going to happen. There's that feeling of uncertainty. It makes it more exciting. There's that adrenaline rush. And I kind of can relate it to working in live TV. That's, my day job, or I guess night job, since I work night sides. But it's like in live TV, it's like we have like a plan how the show is going to go. But sometimes things don't really go as planned. But then we have to react in 10 seconds or whatever, because people are watching. It's like, how do we react without people knowing that, we're actually trying to put out a fire behind the scenes? So I think that's why I like those, that kind of excitement from the MMA world. It's like, yeah, we have a plan. This is supposedly 3 rounds, and then we're waiting for the fight to end. But sometimes there's like knockouts and you just have to be ready and get back in there. And I really, I actually enjoy that moment, even though I felt bad for the guy who got knocked out.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I really enjoy that, because it was a learning experience for me. Like, how would I react to that?
Yeah. And I guess for it happening so quick, you didn't have time to stress out about announcing that first one. Like when you're talking to your husband, you're like, okay, I got to go back now already. Like there's no time to stress out. And then that gets you into the groove, right? So
yeah, I was just like, okay, I need to know what I'm supposed to say. How fast because it happened within 8 seconds.
Okay.
So it's like, what? It happened that quick that to me, it was just like, all right, I need my info. I need to get back in there and I need to tell everyone this is what happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice. Brady Bunch, is there anything that you wanted to ask Raine?
Yeah, a couple questions.
Yeah.
So I'm looking in the background. I see some Hello Kitty stuff, but I
lot of Hello Kitty stuff. For those only on audio, there is a ton of Hello Kitty in the background.
But I also think I see a lot of John Cena, maybe.
I love John Cena.
All right, so is he your favorite? Like, I guess, who are your top 3 wrestlers of all time?
Top 3. Okay. John Cena, Batista. The third one would probably be Trish Stratus.
All right.
Oh, nice. Do you know, Raine, I'm going to tell you a quick little story. I used to teach tennis. And I would teach tennis during the day to rich wives, because they had nothing to do during the day. And this one time, one of my students goes, "Hey, do you know who Trish Stratus is?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. Like, this is back in the day when she was like the big thing. You know what I mean?" And I'm in Toronto, so she's Toronto. And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm sitting there at my house and there's someone moving into the house next door." And I'm sure it's like a mansion, obviously. And she's like, and all we saw was delivery truck after delivery truck of fitness equipment, weight machine, fitness equipment, weight machine. Wow. It was like trucks after trucks. She was really, the whole neighborhood is standing out there going, what the hell is going on? Trish Stratus moved in next door.
Oh, and that's why.
So yeah, that's so cool that you say Trish Stratus. Wow.
Yeah. I love her. Like when I first saw her on Monday Night Raw, and like John Cena, I always love how he would pump out the crowd. And for the main event of my first UNF show, the very last guy that walked in, the last guy that I had to announce for the main event, they started playing John Cena's entrance theme. And I was like, let's go. Okay, I'm pumped for the main event. Let's go.
That's awesome. That's great. Did you notice that when I announced your 4-time Emmy, I did it Booker T style with the 4-time. That was Booker T. That was an homage to him. Brady Bunch, what's your other question?
I guess you don't have to say who. But have you ever met? Because I've met fighters, I've met some pro wrestlers, I met Mankind and had Shamrock back in the day, like changed my whole trajectory in life. And they were great, right? But I also come from the music world, and I've met some music like superstars that before meeting them, I thought they would be awesome, amazing people. And then I'm like, wait, they are not who I thought they were, and they kind of lose a fan. Have you ever met someone from either the fight or the wrestling world that you were like really excited to meet, and you were kind of like, you don't have to say who, but like, oh man, like this kind of ruins all my like childhood memories or whatever, you know?
Oh man, I don't think so, honestly. I think for the most part, I've met people whom I was just like starstruck in a sense, but at the same time, I was just shocked as to how nice they were to me. Like at SummerSlam, because they brought me backstage when I first got there, and I had met so many wrestlers. And, they were very nice, hi, hello, whatever. But there were some who like legitimately, like, they're like genuinely nice. I guess the most memorable moment for me was because they gave me a chance to rehearse. I was going to announce at SummerSlam, mostly like for a mic check to know where I'm going to stand in the ring, whatever. So I did that, got out of the ring. There's this lady who walked up to me, and she's like, because at this time we were still wearing masks, and you just take it off when, you would have to like do something. So she was wearing her mask, and I was looking at her, and I was like, I know who you are. But she's like shaking my hand. She's like, congratulations. Great job. La, la, la. I was like, okay. In my head, oh my God, I'm going to freak out. And then she's like, I'm Nora. And I was like, of course you are. In my head. I'm glad I was wearing a mask at this point. And then I think she just saw that I was just like staring at her. Right. And then so she pulls her mask down. She's like, Molly Holly. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Nice to meet you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I didn't know when you said Nora, I don't know, but so she's Molly Holly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then right after that, there was another lady that walked up to me. Same thing. She's like, congratulations and la, la, la. You did a great job. And she was wearing her glasses, same thing, wearing her mask. And she said, I'm Beth. And then I just like, my mind was just like, Beth, like my coworker, Beth, what's going on? Why is she here? And then like she pulled her mask down. She's like, Beth Phoenix. And I was like, okay. Like, I'm just like,
that's crazy.
I was just freaking out, but not trying to show them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, like they took their time to like stop and like tell me, congratulations, you did a great job. Like they didn't really have to,
Right.
Because like the other people, they're just like, hey, nice to meet you. Bye. But for them, they took their time to like stop. And even after I did the actual announcement, they walked up to me again and congratulated me again and told me I did a great job. And I was like, this is really cool.
That's awesome, Raine. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you because again, like you seem like such a great person online. You are a great person now that we've had the chance to meet you. So I'm so happy. I'm going to ask you just a few more things before we let you go. I know we're going to be short on time, but definitely want to have you back because I want to follow your progress as you keep going through this MMA world. I do want to say I put out a story to our fans to ask them where we think that they definitely need a new ring announcer, because the professional organizations, Raine, now I don't know how big you were into. Were you big into MMA before this? No.
I would watch it, but mostly because I'm exposed to it at work. Not that I don't. Right. My husband watches it too. Yeah. But yeah, when it's on, I'll watch it.
Okay, but not crazy.
I'm not like following someone religiously yet.
Right. Okay. Just so you know, the other major organizations like ONE FC in Asia, PFL here, Bellator here, okay, they all are lacking. No offense, but they're all pretty bad with their ring announcers. So that's why when there's some young up and comers like yourself, like former guest of the podcast, Big Mo, I really hope that you guys succeed and take over. But I went and I asked the fans and I said, okay, so which major MMA organization needs a new ring announcer ASAP? Amazingly, I put out ONE FC, PFL, and Bellator. it was 40% 1FC, 40% Bellator, and 20% PFL. So the door is wide open for you to smash this market, make a name for yourself, and then go to one of those organizations, because they need something new. They need a new look. They need a new person. They need someone that's going to bring something, you know, and that should be Ringside Raine.
Oh my God.
So get that job. I need you to get one of those jobs for sure. Raine, before we let you go and before I ask my last question, is there anything that you wanted to say to fans, viewers, and listeners of the podcast?
I just want to say thank you to both of you for having me on your podcast. You know, this is really awesome. You know, I like sharing my story because I feel like there's always, you know, I feel like it's not just a story about my life as a ring announcer, but I think it's a story of how someone, you know, had a dream and, you know, followed her dream and somehow, you know, she's making it happen, right? And I feel like all of us are kind of like on the same boat. You know, we have that something that we really want to do. And sometimes we hear a story of how someone was able to accomplish that goal. I just, you know, I am always thankful to have a platform to share my story, because if that means I can inspire someone to kind of take that first step to accomplish whatever goal they want to do, and, you know, that makes me happy. So thank you for having me here. And thank you for, you know, promoting the next show for UNF.
Of course. This Saturday, UNF 9 at the Commerce Event Center. Go, and you can check it out at www.upnextfighting.com. You can check it out there as well. That's where you can get your tickets. Raine, I'm going to ask you a question. I still have two things to do, but last question I got to ask you is a question that my mom used to ask me growing up my whole life. And so we're asking it to our guest. Raine, I'm going to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
How happy? Wait, which one's like the highest though? 10?
10's the highest. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to say 10.
Nice. Okay.
Because, you know, there are days when I would say, yeah, 8 or whatever, but it's like, honestly, for me, it's like, as long as I'm living and as long as I, you know, have my dogs with me, I'm happy. I'm a 10.
Of course. Shout out to your dogs. They're not here right now. They are both foster fails, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Both
okay.
foster fails.
So, which means you just couldn't give them up? Is that what happened?
Correct. To me, I just kind of fell in love with them. So I told my husband, I was like, hey, so what do you think of just adopting them? And he's like, okay.
Yeah. They are very cute. So again, people go find Ringside Raine at Ringside Raine on Instagram. That's where you're most active, is on your Instagram. Correct?
Yeah, on my Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Ringside Raine Cruz, we are going to follow you along in your career, your journey. We're going to follow you. We're going to cheer for you every time you're anywhere. Congratulations with Up Next Fighting. They are an amazing promotion. Tell them I said so. And make sure that you make friends with all those people. There are so many superstars there. You never know what doors will open for you as you make these connections, because the world is tight. Like, it's a small world in MMA. So doing well here can set you up for great things. I'm very excited for you. Before we let you go, do you mind if you announce our podcast? That would be fantastic for us. I'm gonna cut it, just so you know. I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna put it in our intro. So if you can announce our podcast, would be fantastic.
Oh my God. Yeah.
All right.
You want to do it now? Like now? Right
do
now?
it now. Actually, but hold on. Before you do it, just stand up a little bit. I want to see that shirt.
My Ringside Raine shirt?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Fight Inside Podcast.
Perfect.
My dog started barking.
That's okay. I love it. I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna put that in an intro song for us. Raine Cruz, thank you so much for joining the podcast. I really appreciate you're a lovely person. Wish you all the success. Thank you so much for joining the podcast, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Braydbunch, winner guest, right?
Yes.
She's so cool. I'm so happy for her success. Up Next Fighting, I'm telling you, that is the place to be. And I love that Ray Rowland sent in that video for her.
Yes. You can tell cool. Made her like lit up from that.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love the people there. They seem to be such a good community there, and I'm very excited for them. Guys, thank you for watching the podcast. If you're here because of Ringside Raine, thank you so much. Please do follow and subscribe. You'll see us all down there. If you're listening on audio, please like us, comment, do all the things that help us get noticed by other people. Brady Bunch, friends of the podcast update. Let's see what is going on. I have some friends of the podcast update. I want to say thanks to Rageworks Podcast Network at rageworksnetwork.com. You can find a whole bunch of podcasts there. Max Payne Griffin is fighting this week at UFC, so he's up next. Albert Ochoa.
Yes.
Brady Bunch. The King, Albert Ochoa, was victorious in his boxing fight last weekend, so congratulations to Albert. We will have him back on the podcast again. Did you see that? Did you hear it? Did you?
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with the setup, and looks like IFL is growing, and it was really cool.
Good for him. And next week on the podcast, I do want to announce, and I apologize if I'm saying this name wrong, but it's Sadibou Sai. He was the 2022 PFL champion. So he's already won $1 million, and he's on his way to his next. Here was his fight this past weekend. Here's just a clip of the knockout. Disgusting wheel kick knockout. He will be on the podcast next week. Our very first ever PFL fighter, Brady Bunch. So get your questions ready for a PFL athlete.
All right.
Brady Bunch, topics that I wanted to talk about. There were a few things I wanted to talk about. Obviously, there's the Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk fight.
Yeah. I don't think that'll ever happen. I wish.
Really?
Yeah, you think it'll really happen?
I think it's happening for sure. Look, we are going to save this topic for next week.
Yeah.
Because what I want to do is I want to see the reactions from different people so that we can kind of respond.
All right.
People are all over the place with whether they think this is going to happen.
It won't happen.
It's going to happen.
No, Musk would never have the balls to do it. He's a puss.
Wait, you think Musk is going to bail out?
Yes.
No, he's the guy pushing it.
No, he's full of crap. Literally, he lies to everybody. His Twitter is full of lies. Everything that comes out of that man's mouth, half of it's lies, right?
He's pushing it. He just responded today to George St. Pierre, who said he's going to train him.
Do you see his physique? That man is out of shit and pale, and there's no way he will get ready to take on. They better wait a decade. And
no. He's got a lot. No. He's got a lot of time. They're saying UFC 300.
No, but didn't you see that? I saw Chael Sonnen claimed it was confirmed UFC 300, and then I saw it came out that it was just Chael's trolling everybody. Like he's full of it.
It's gonna happen. We'll talk about it next week, and we'll see what you think. But I think it's going to happen because I think now that they've spoken that into the universe, I think there's going to be way too many people that are going to push for this to actually happen.
See, but you know what? I'm going to say it. We all know that Zuck is well trained. Zuck has a passion for this. Zuck, I don't think that Elon Musk would risk taking the publicity hit.
That's the question, because whoever loses, how bad is it
gonna look for their companies and everything?
Yeah, but you're not a fighter, so it doesn't matter, even if you lose. But
here's the thing. My argument would be that what's-his-face is, in a way, a fighter. Zuck, at this point. He's trained long enough, hard enough. Musk is all talk. He steals people's ideas. I hate all Musk fanboys. As an autistic adult, he's a bad example for people like me on this planet. He's a phony. He likes to divide. And he's a transphobe. So you know what? If he really does want to fight, I'll take
this guy.
I would choke the crap out of Musk, right? Bring it on, Musk. But
you should call him out in your next fight.
I should.
You should call him out.
But guess what I've noticed? Speaking of call-outs, I tagged both Sean Brady from the UFC and Jake Shields a few times, right? Jake Shields no response. Sean Brady has been watching my stories, right?
Okay.
Do not follow me, right? But one day I'm going to get Sean Brady to compete in something against me.
Wait, why Sean Brady? What's your beef with Sean Brady?
Oh, there's no beef. My birth name is Sean Brady. So I would love to have the battle of the Sean Bradys to see who the GOAT is out of all Sean Bradys in the combat sport world. Just for fun, right?
I'm glad that we clarified that, though, because we were going down the transphobe alley, and then you bring his name up. I'm like, wait, is this guy like... No, okay, so he's a good dude. Okay, all right.
From what I can tell, he seems like a good... Jake Shields, I think, is all talk, and I think he's actually into trans people. Someone should check his hard drive.
All right.
But I would love to actually get good enough to fight. Maybe I'll fight Jake Shields and bare knuckle one day. Who knows?
I don't know. Jake Shields is a monster, though.
He is a monster.
I know you're a monster too, but all right.
But listen. When's the last time Jake Shields has done monster stuff?
Yeah, that's true.
Himself.
I don't know. Former guest of the podcast, mind you. So I'm not talking.
All right.
Because I appreciate him. All right. Okay, there's the one topic that I do want to talk about, and I don't want to go too long on time today because for both of us, but on a side note, very funny, I got into a lot of trouble online, as I always do. Some website put their P for P women's list up.
Yeah.
P for P, pound for pound, women's list.
Yeah.
I think number 5 was Carla Esparza. As much as I love Carla, immediately commented saying,
Warfest, first of all.
Carla on this list. This creates this whole pound for pound best. You're going to put Carla Esparza?
I guess
crazy.
Part of it is just she's technically won titles, right?
That's the thing. They go, oh, well, she's a 2-time champ. I'm like, okay, fine. I mean, David Arquette was the WCW champion. He's not one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Like, fucking, no, come on.
I forgot about that, David Arquette.
I don't care that you are undefeated. I don't care that that you're not undefeated, right? I mean, there's no women on the list that were undefeated, anyways. But I don't care that you've suffered losses. Whatever. It's about how dangerous you are. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of women that would be on that list before Carla. But let me know what you think. Put it in the comments if you guys think that Carla Esparza belongs on a pound for pound list. I don't even think she belongs on pound for pound list of strawweight women, let alone all women.
I agree.
Yeah.
But you know what? Amanda was so dominant. Her leaving just shakes stuff up so much that
and then people got to put up these stupid lists and include, there's so many deadly strikers or like people with serious aggression. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyways, that was crazy. Okay. Before our next guest gets here next week, we got to talk some shit about PFL, which we often do on this podcast because they have a lot of problems. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, shit. Hold on. Friends of the podcast update, I do want to give a shout out to Lanny Chan of Stride Muay Thai. This is the dude that we had on our podcast back in when we were in the single digit episodes at the beginning of the podcast. He's a guy in Toronto, runs a Muay Thai gym, Stride Muay Thai in Toronto. He was doing free seminars for women as due to the Stop Asian Hate stuff that was going on. This dude, this is the guy I went to his fundraiser. And I think I talked about it on the podcast a few weeks ago. They were running a fundraiser because he had 12 kids going to some Muay Thai championship in Iowa, like freaking so far. So they were raising money for the 12 kids. Look at the belts this dude takes home.
That's awesome.
I think every single one of their kids won at least one fight. I think they had I don't know how many gold belts they got, how many silver place finishes they got. That team, kick ass. Congratulations to Stride Muay Thai and the Stridelings there. Crazy to watch their growth. Anyway, so that was one thing I wanted to shout out. Okay, PFL. Do you know the story about this stupid 2 guys that now got kicked out of the tournament?
No.
Do you know this story? No? Okay, get ready for this.
Yeah.
So you know how PFL has the tournament, right?
Yes.
And you have to win the fights to get into this friggin' tournament.
Yes.
Or sorry, you have to win the points to then make it to the playoffs to then get your chance at the title and to win the $1 million. Remember, next week's guest, he has done that. He's won it, and he's on his way to winning it again. Well, these 2 guys in the whatever the hell division this is, featherweight, maybe whatever it is, They fight. Shane Burgos has already lost his debut. And then I think in his next fight, he gets a decision. So he doesn't have enough points to make it to the finals. Okay. Remember, Shane Burgos, who was like a UFC superstar who, for whatever reason, contract negotiations fell through with UFC. Dana White says it was a mistake. They should have kept him. He then goes to PFL, loses his first fight, which is an embarrassment, right? Because they probably paid him a lot of money to fucking go there. And then he loses. And then his second fight, he wins by decision. So he doesn't have enough points to make it to the finals. Okay. Or to the semis or whatever you call it. These two guys in the same division fight. Apparently, they're godfathers to each other's children. They are like best friends and training partners their whole lives.
Interesting.
But because of the way this thing works out, they have to fight. Apparently, I don't watch PFL. I don't know anyone that does. I'm sorry. I can't. Honestly, it's not even on the streaming sites that I may or may not use. Okay? Like, they don't even put PFL on that. That's how bad this is.
Great.
So these two guys fight, Brady Bunch. Apparently, everybody says it's like a glorified sparring match. They're not going to kill each other, whatever.
Did you watch it?
No. I couldn't find it. I can't find it anywhere.
All right.
I can't find it anywhere. But I comment a lot, and I'm trying to get the story from people. They say...
ESPN Plus, you'll be able to find it.
What's that?
They'll replay it on ESPN Plus. You could track it.
I don't have that because I'm Canadian.
All right.
So this is the problem. This is why I don't even know how to get PFL in Canada. Anyways, so the PFL... So apparently the ref does... Because I said to people, I'm like, well, if it was so bad, why wouldn't the ref take a point away for timidity, right? Because you can warn them or take points away or stop the fight, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as I know, no points are taken, no yellow cards, no blah, 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 whatever. The fight goes to a decision. One dude wins. The PFL immediately afterwards announces both of them are out of the tournament.
Interesting.
They've suspended both of them, and they rely on some fucking thing in their rules that say you must put forth your best effort at all times. You must blah, blah, blah.
Interesting.
Remove them both. Mind you, the one guy has won the tournament twice. So, like, he's no schlub.
That's crazy.
And by removing both of them, I think the one guy, Nathan Schultz, was going to make it through. By removing both of them, they remove him out of the semis, and they put Shane Burgos in.
Of course they did.
You fucking transparent... Or, like, obviously you're doing this to get Shane Burgos into the tournament. Like, I don't understand how you take this guy out. This guy was your former champion. This guy obviously is a good dude.
I'm wondering
whether or not he goes in and he doesn't try to kill his fucking best friend.
Yeah.
I mean, shame on them, because even if they, between them, they said, hey, we're not going to strike, let's just grapple, and we'll just make it a grappling MMA fight. Like, just, hey, dude, you just take me down immediately, and we'll just battle this out on the ground. But we will battle full force on the ground.
Yeah.
But, dude, I'm going to throw a fucking hook right off the get-go. You take me down, and then let's do it. You know what I mean? And then no one will know. But I guess if they just stood and pitter-pattered at one another.
Yeah, but even then, how do you prove it?
So here's the problem. And if it is so bad, then why wouldn't you go for match fixing like they did to frickin' the James Krause gym?
Yep.
Why wouldn't you go for match fixing and then have the commissions like be all over these dudes and fucking cancel their gym, run, whatever investigations and blah, like into the whole thing and say, well, this is match fixing. This is super illegal.
No one's betting on the PFL. That's why.
Okay. Well, aside from that, Brady Bunch. The point is, without doing that, it seems like it's very obvious just to help Shane Burgos, the guy that they're probably paying a lot of money, get into the goddamn thing. So here I'm putting up something on screen that's from MMA Fighting. Nathan Schultz and Roush Manfio suspended by the PFL for substandard fight. Shane Burgos now in the playoffs.
Even the way it's worded. Substandard fight. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, because that... Yeah, whatever. I think that's the way that they worded it in the...
I get it, but there's some bullshit. I think it's bullshit. I gotta watch the fight, though. I gotta see what this fight looks like. So I'm gonna try to find it on ESPN Plus. Because I'm curious. Okay. Like, if it's very clear that like, neither of these guys are trying to friggin' do anything.
Yeah.
That maybe, right? Maybe.
But maybe what? What are you going to do?
Who won, by the way? Who won?
The Nathan Schultz guy.
All right, so the guy who won it all in the past.
Yeah, the guy who's a champion. I reached out to him to see if he'll come on the podcast. I haven't heard a response yet. I think the other guy may not speak English. I apologize. I was looking through his Instagram. I didn't see the other guy speaking English at all. So I only reached out to the Nathan Schultz guy. But he's been silent. I haven't seen him say anything.
Might be something tied to their contract.
But can you imagine? You get pulled out? Like, it's like, oh, no. So then he goes online and starts petitioning to Francis Ngannou and says, hey, you're supposed to be the fighter advocate. When you fought Derek Lewis, you threw like 6 punches the whole fight.
He said that?
Something like that. And then goes, Ngannou, help me out here, man. They can't do this to me. What's the deal? Yeah. So that's pretty cool because, you're calling a spade and going, hey, Ngannou, you had that problem when you fought Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
You didn't get friggin' terminated. And the thing is, they're not even cutting them. They're just pulling them out of the playoffs, which again is so transparent. If you want to push this all the way, cut both of them. Go, no, we're going to cut you both. Get the hell out of here and never be here again. But
higher chance of a lawsuit.
No, but you're allowed to cut a guy for any reason, right?
Well, yeah, but you can always sue in court for, if you think certain things breach the contract or whatever.
I don't know. This is even worse though, because you're saying that this guy defrauded the fight, blah, 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 right? Like, I would think that this is more damning to your name.
Reputation, yes.
Yeah, it's libel and slander, right? You're saying this guy fixed his fight. You're saying that this guy doesn't try, blah, 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 right? Like, you're ruining this guy's reputation. You should have just cut him.
You know what? This makes me wonder, though. Can I plug something really quick?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be in I think it's the Token Choke tournament coming up. And my former coach / trainer, Manimal, is taking on Steamroller for Rolla.
I saw that.
Right?
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Part of me is wondering, because I know they're pretty friendly, how are they going to handle it? Are they going to go balls to the walls, trying to choke each other out, right?
Yeah. Yes. No, but this is what I'm saying. If you're my best friend, I can have a full-on jiu-jitsu match with you.
That's true.
Because I'm not punching you in the face and kicking you in the head. Like,
you're so right.
No, that's okay. Again, for those that maybe didn't watch the podcast before, token choke means toke, smoke, and choke.
Yes.
You're not choking out token Asians or token, right? Like, again, we're just making that clear. Yeah. Anyways, I just thought that's crazy with PFL.
Yes.
And I feel like it is 1,000,000% wrong to do. I don't care that I didn't see the fight. This bullshit. You don't pull this guy out. And if you do pull him out, then the guy that was in the semifinals supposed to fight him should just advance to the finals. You don't put Shane Burgos in. That just makes it so inappropriate in my mind.
I kind of agree.
Like, you're just putting in the guy that you've signed for so much money, and you're like, well, I got to put him in. And then Chael Sonnen was on the MMA Hour, and he's talking about it and going, that's an amazing fight. Yeah, but that's not the fucking point. It doesn't matter that you're making an amazing fight by removing these guys. It's that you shouldn't have removed this guy at all.
Chael.
It's just crazy. Braydbunch, we're near the end of time, and I know you've got to go. We've got stuff to do next week. Very excited for the podcast, but is there anything that you wanted to talk about before we go, or anything else you wanted to plug?
Basically, I'm going to my bare knuckle tryout July 9th. So putting in all the training, in a bit do some of the training. I'm still in talks with going to Thailand for a fight in November. And I'm debating doing a little kickboxing fight, but I got to decide if it'll fit in. That's basically it. I'm super excited. I'm more motivated than ever. Yeah, that's basically. Oh, and what I'll say is my two new coaches from my new gym both competed at a show in Westchester this week.
Yes.
I was really proud because they were the only two to get TKOs that night. So we were 2-0 there. And just imagine, because I've kind of been training at multiple gyms. watching my coaches like finish their opponents pretty easily, right? Gives me all the confidence that I've landed someplace that's really going to get me ready for whatever's next.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, the confidence in seeing your coaches perform at that level and get the success.
Yes,
for sure. That's like Lanny Chan and his Stride team.
Yes.
Can you imagine you're one of those 12 kids, you travel all this way to freaking Iowa. No offense, Iowa. Travel all the way to Iowa, and then your teammate wins. Your next teammate wins. Your next teammate wins. Like the positive energy you have to have. And then I think the gym won something like best junior team. Of course you did, because freaking 12 of your guys ended up kicking ass. So, yeah, like that's a big thing when you see your gym succeeding around you, how positively motivating that should be.
Yeah. So I'm pumped. And you know what? You always talk about the importance of having coaches in your corner and that will actually show up for my fights in my corner. In fact, a lot of people there who I knew from my other gym, just training or coaches wise, when I shared with them just some of my experiences in the past, a lot of them didn't know. My old coaches didn't show up for my fights, right?
Yeah.
So they were all like, yo, that is fucking messed up, right?
Right.
Which is sort of how I felt all along.
Yeah.
I'm still popping into that other gym on occasion, not gonna lie. But that's because I'm addicted to this sport. And I'm going to show them all in sparring, like, yo, this is what I can do, right?
Yeah. It's funny. You know what? It's funny. Sorry to break in. It's funny because when you're in the midst of something, right? Like you said, you kind of knew that this was bad, but hey, you're in it, so you don't realize. But now that it's kind of removed and you're realizing, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And now it's changing your mind. It's kind of like how Raine was saying, right? Like sometimes you don't realize the things that are happening, but it's all meant for the good. Well, here you are now. You're moving over. You're around people that are giving you that positivity. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel blessed. So yeah.
Those doors are opening for you, my friend, and success is on the way. Let's see. So again, next week, keep messing up the name. That's why I got to keep looking. Sadibou Sai is on the podcast next week. So we'll see you next week for that. We are going to end this now for the audio listeners. If you're here on video, you're going to see some videos pop up soon that you can click on other videos. Brady Bunch, any last words? Anything else?
No.
We're good. All right. Focus on Musk versus Zuckerberg. We'll talk about that next week. We'll see what the world kind of says. We'll give it like a week. You know what I mean? Like, let's see where it all pans out.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk and we'll debate it. But I like that you're on the side that it's never going to happen, that it's stupid. And I'm on the side that this is the greatest thing ever.
Well, I do agree. If it happened, it would be amazing. Right? I just don't think it will.
The winner gets the planet Earth. You know what I mean?
I would say.
Like what are you going to, what are two multi-billionaires fighting for? They're not going to fight for a fucking belt.
It makes me wonder, though, maybe the CEO of TikTok is trained in the Asian martial arts. Very interesting, right?
Yeah.
Then maybe it really is the battle for the planet, right?
Yeah. Well, and then you've got other apps like Kakao Talk. That's a huge chatting app in Asia. Who owns that?
Yes, right?
Next thing you know, you find out Anderson Silva owns it. Let's go.
Yes.
All right, we're done. We will see you guys next week. Ringside Raine, very cool guest. I really appreciate her having her on. She was awesome. So Thanks, guys. All right, Brady Bunch.
Peace.